The Moxie Cinema in downtown Springfield provides a stellar lineup of movies each month. And with me now from the Moxie is my friend Mike Stevens. Mike, so good to see you again. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's a little warm, but
a little warm, a little too warm, yes. But all the more incentive for people to go and see some movies over at the Moxie. So you've got 3 movies you want to talk about today. The first is called Miracle Club. Tell me about this.
So this starts this week, and it is an Irish film, a dramedy starring like all-star cast: Katie Bates, Laura Linney, and Dame Maggie Smith.
Yes.
And it is about a bunch of friends in this down at the hills neighborhood in Dublin called Ballygar, who've been dreaming about going on a pilgrimage to Lourdes in France. And they finally get it. And then just as they do, Laura Linney, her character, returns for her mother's funeral. And they're kind of forced to confront their past, what's happened to them in their past. And so it's a moving kind of film about friendship and trauma and overcoming that.
Okay, so I mean, when I hear those names, I think that's a pretty powerhouse female cast. So for people that love those actresses, what do you think they're gonna love about their performances in this film?
I think just getting a chance to see them interact, I love all of them, but I've never seen them in the same project. And anyway, Dame Maggie Smith, anytime she's on screen, I'm on board for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the next one is called Theater Camp. This one looks kind of fun, so tell me about this.
This was a Sundance breakout this last year, and it is an absolute love letter for anybody that loves musical theater, in particular anybody that's gone to any kind of arts education, So it's set in an upstate New York theater camp, kind of that's having a tough go of it, and it follows the eccentric cast of the eccentric staff of that camp, and they're basically trying to keep it afloat. And to do that, they're going to try to band together and create this dream production. And it's just one of those sweet, kind of crowd-pleasing, but also very sharp movies that Sundance really does a good job of bringing to the fore.
Absolutely. Now, this is kind of an ensemble cast as well, right? Because I know like Ben Platt's in it, correct?
Ben Platt's the big name, Tony Award winner, and I think people who love musical theater should absolutely drop everything they're doing and run to see this when it comes out.
Yeah, but let me challenge you on that and ask, like, if there's people who maybe aren't as into musical theater or have that experience at theater camp, will they still be able to enjoy the film?
Yeah. I'm not a huge musical theater person myself, but it's absolutely charming. I think it's a kind of anybody that feels like a misfit. It really celebrates those folks. So I think that's the universal aspect of it.
Okay. Anything surprising about the film that maybe surprised you in a good way?
I think that it looks like a small budget film, but it feels so big-hearted.
Okay.
So that was one of the things that stuck out to me.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. All right. The last one. Hoop Dreams. This is a documentary, right?
It is, 1994, and it's a part of what's called an Essential Art House series that we do, where we pick out movies that we think of as some of the most important films made over the last 50 years for what we do, art house films. And it is a documentary about 2 young inner-city Chicago boys as they struggle to try to become college athletes and hopefully on to become professional basketball players. It is arguably one of the best nonfiction films of all time.
Okay.
It was filmed over 5 years by Steve James, and it is his magnum opus. It is just one of those stunning movies.
Yeah. So I'm curious. So you say this is from the 90s, but I feel like more recently we're kind of seeing this surge of sports-based docuseries and documentaries. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I think a lot of the ones we're seeing these days are engineered by the people that they're featuring.
Yeah.
And so this is a very unvarnished look at people before they've hit their prime. They might not necessarily go on to fame, but it's really more studying the kind of dynamics of sports, competitive sports, as well as impoverished neighborhoods, that this is a vehicle out for them, but also it means they sacrifice a lot of their other life and a lot of their education.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing I love about this specific type of film is I think this is really like the heart of the Moxie, right? It's an older film, so it can appeal to like my parents, right? But then also it may be a film I haven't seen, but I could still enjoy. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it's my favorite review. The Washington Post, when it came out, said this is the best movie about sports ever made.
Yeah, so. I love that. All right, so summer is still happening. We're right in the middle of it, right in the middle of the heat. So what's happening over at the Moxie with all that?
So we have a film camp going on right now. Plotline Film Camp is using our theaters. We also have Moxie mornings happening occasionally.
Of course.
But we're really hunkered down in the air conditioning, waiting for fall. Fall's the big season, so we're excited for Oscar kind of movies to start popping.
Yeah.
Time.
All right, I love that. Now, if people want more information, how can they find that?
MoxieCinema.com is always the best way to find out more information.
All right, perfect. Mike, thanks so much for being here. And for all of our viewers, go check out a film that you would not normally see at the Moxie Cinema.